Ooh, you are listening to Keith Price's Curtain Call.
Fame, what you like is in your limo. Fame, what you get is new tomorrow. Fame, what you need you have to borrow. Fame, fame, mine is mine, just a line to bind your time it rhymes to crime.
Fame, baby. That's all we want. That's all we want, don't we? Come on, Sven.
That's why we are here.
That's why we are here. Hey, this is Keith Price, and welcome to another edition of The Curtain Call. And again, you know how I love to find these little jewels of that's what we like to call it. And you never know what will be coming from the International Registry of But today, this is great, see? I told you it's going to be crazy. Today, I have someone, you know, it's kind of a thing because this whole year started with a lot of weird people leaving us in the music world, and one of which, of course, most recently was Prince, but at the beginning of the year was when we lost David Bowie. And it's so funny because since that time, you know, it's been a nice resurgence of people honoring him and artistically honoring him in a way that is probably for him, I'm sure, super uber flattering because he's like, look at these people, they love me. Yeah. It's like, you know, my last album was #1, they loved me. And it's great because I have an international actor visiting the Curtain Call because, you know, we try to keep it classy in this joint. And his name is Sven Ratzke. That's Ratzke, Ratzke. You have to say it like Sven Ratzke. I have to practice that, my international.
No, you do good.
And he is in New York right now for this brief window of time after coming off of his first leg, I guess, of his European tour of this wonderful show called STARMAN, in which it is not only him singing David Bowie songs, but he's also... because he's also a songwriter of his own, has been inspired by David Bowie. And he is here with us today on The Curtain Call because he has a show at Joe's Pub here in New York, May 23rd, 4th, and 25th. And then shortly in June and July, he's going to be down under, doing the big tours down under. Then he comes back, he does a little more Europe. So we are very lucky to have Sven take the time out of his busy schedule to stop by and come talk to us about his show and talk to him just because, you know, I love an international man. And so... and he sings. So Sven, tell me, David Bowie, I look at you now, and if you go to... SvenRatzke.com, you will get an idea of the kind of glam that this man serves up on a regular. And when I see David Bowie, I'm like, oh yeah, sure. This is somebody you should, if he's not already in your repertoire, you should definitely be doing him. When did you discover Bowie?
I think when I was very young, you know, I grew up with these in this hippie environment, and there was a lot of music. There was Bob Marley, and there was Bowie, and a lot of artists hanging around. So, and of course, Bowie was always somebody who changed, you know, who took risks, and especially in the 70s when like every 2 or 3 years he changed his whole persona.
Yeah.
So he was always present in my life, but I have to admit, I was not like a major fan. When I was a teenager, I was into like Michael Jackson and Falco and all that stuff.
Right.
You know, that was like in the end of the 80s. So he was always present, and as my development as an artist, coming from like cabaret, in the beginning I was doing like Fassbinder and Brecht, you know, all these rough material about prostitutes and drugs and all that stuff. And
so
I was
dramatic.
Yeah, well, it was a good school. And so I moved on, and then I did, of course, Hedwig and the Angry Inch.
Yes.
And I came across this sort of more... I didn't know that I could sing rock material. And the idea of doing something with Bowie... I had that idea like for a couple of years because I thought it's like theater. You know, and the music is so well written, the lyrics are so beautiful, and you can make it your own. And that's always my goal in everything I do. I don't want to cover things because, You know, they are already done perfectly by himself. And so I did this research also, and I really got to know him. And I mean, maybe it sounds sentimental, but when he passed suddenly away, because that was such a shock for a lot of people, because he just released an album. He was so present, you know, and it's like he staged his own death. I mean, he's an artwork on himself, you know, how he created his whole persona also for the outside, the mystery and all these characters he did. So for me, it was like an opera, and I was very much intrigued, and I used all the research I did, and then I threw it all away, and I picked myself and my own fantasies.
Right.
So this show is sort of a reinterpretation of his songs, but his name is never really mentioned, so it's not like a tribute show. So like, okay, I'm gonna pretend that I'm Bowie, or I can sing these songs. No, I take people on a sort of an entertainment trip, on a journey from London, LA, New York, and we end up in Berlin in a sleazy drag club. So and in between we meet all these characters, and they sometimes relate to the life of Bowie. We meet Andy Warhol as a sort of a white rabbit who shows me the underground here. Right. We meet Liz Taylor, who has a big wax figure cabinet in LA of child stars, and so we have all these characters in the show, and it's a mixture of entertaining, but also I think what I saw in the audience in Europe, a lot of people are really touched also by the reinterpretations of the songs, and also of the glimpse of things that a Bowie fan really knows. You know, there's a lot of inside information, but you don't have to follow. You know, if you don't know this, you still have a great.
That's what I was going to ask. It's like if you're going to, it's more about his life, or it's more about the effect of his life on you as an artist.
Yeah,
is that more with
because
the
we never. What I find so interesting about him, and what you started now with all these legends that pass away, they were also a mystery. Like Prince, the same. You know, we don't know exactly what happened there, and also there are a lot of questions. Not everything is clear, and I have to say, I find that so intriguing, so much more intriguing than a Taylor Swift who's constantly on Twitter or on Instagram and showing everything of their life.
Right.
And so maybe that's old-fashioned, but I think art is also about that, you know, like put a question mark there.
Well, I think when there is a little bit of mystery and certainly a sense of distance between you as a person who enjoys being an artist and those of us who enjoy the art form. Exactly. It's sort of like when there's that distance, it allows you to kind of immerse yourself into it. But it's like if I feel like I know everything I need to know about you and then some, and I hadn't even really sat down and talked to you, your art to me is just like, it's more... I feel like I'm being assaulted more by your art than, you know, than the other thing. And that's Sven Ratzke here with me on Keith Price's Curtain Call. And we're talking about his new CD that's actually, it's now official. I'm holding a CD, y'all. You don't know how excited it is. I get very excited when I get to hold a CD. And then, of course, when you open it up, it's like, you know, the 3-layer thing. And there he is giving you bare rug nakedness. I'm like, how you doing, Sven? I don't need to know, because, you know, Bowie inspires all of this kind of excitement and all of this. See, now you got to get the trifold CD. You got to order the CD now, just so that you can have this experience that I'm having going, See,
you have to open it.
You have to open the whole thing.
It's also on vinyl, and so that's bigger. Yeah. But you have to open the vinyl to see it. That's also like the 70s, you know, when we had all these beautiful vinyl albums, and you can open them, and there's a secret inside.
Well, there's not a lot of secrets here, Sven. Hey.
Well, luckily it's radio.
How you doing? See, that's why you have to get this CD, and of course, within it, you get the wonderful piece that has. You get a fold out. So now I can have you
poster,
Exactly. I can put you on the wall now until my partner shows up. This is just for work, honey. This is work. Research. Because again, Sven Ratzke is touring right now, and he's stopping. This is his New York leg of his tour, which seems to be taking over the world. Europe, New York. You got Australia. He's going down under, back to London. Then he's doing Edinburgh. This guy is very, very busy, and it's wonderful because it feels like you've connected to something that churns not only your interest as an artist, but also giving you a sense of commerce. Because as artists, it's a very difficult thing to maintain a sense of business when you want to create things like this.
Yeah.
For you, how difficult was it for you to commit yourself wholly to this? Once you locked into it as something for yourself, did you feel that you could get it all the way not only around the world but now also in a CD?
Yeah, you know, it sounds maybe a little bit arrogant, but I'm doing this for a long time, and I, you know, it was the same with Hedwig and the Angry Inch. How can you do that? I mean, John Cameron Mitchell is a legend, and it's so beautiful done already. And when I met him and we became friends, and he supported me, I said, "No, you will be great." And after he saw the show, he said, "You are the best." You know, I mean, that made me so proud. But I had also the feeling, I can do this. And with the Bowie thing, I also knew, okay, I couldn't have done this like 10 years ago. You know,
Right.
I had not the experience, and now, because it is so legendary, you have to be careful, and you really have to make a plan. What do you want to do? And it has to do something also with the feeling you put into it. You know, your own thing.
Right.
You make it your own, and we rehearsed a long time, and the selection of songs I chose, and also the songs that we added, the original songs that I wrote with Rochelle Garnier from New York.
Yeah.
She lives here in New York City. She's an amazing songwriter. Are songs that I missed in the repertoire. Like "The Torch" is a song of, you know, it's like this love affair that not really works out, and probably with a drag queen. And Bowie had, of course, a long love relationship with Romy Haag, who I know, friends with her in Berlin, and she had this club, and they inspired each other, you know. And so we added a couple of these things to make it even more unique, I guess. And I hope they sound like the repertoire of Bowie. I think also that, I mean, Bowie had the CD. Yeah? When the CD came out, we sent him the CD. Steve Elson is on the record, the longtime sax player of Bowie, who did like Let's Dance and all that stuff. Joey Arias is on the CD, who worked, of course, with Bowie. So, and we met all these people, or I met all these people. But I was all these journalists were always asking me, so when are you going to meet Bowie? I said, well, that's not, you know, the main thing.
Right.
The main thing is that I know my stuff, that I did my research, and that I create something else, something on my own. And probably he would have loved it, because he had a great sense of humor, and it's also bizarre and wicked in that sense. The whole stories, you know, they're like, you know, Baron from Münchhausen, this Baron who told all these lies, but they were so great, and you just wanted to believe them,
and you went for the ride.
Exactly, and this is like, it's a little bit in that direction.
I love it. Sven Ratzke here with me on Keith Price's Curtain Call, and we're talking about his CD Starman, where he's having a tribute as well as a creative expression through the love that he has for David Bowie. And it's great because he has put this all into a show that is traveling around the world right now. We're lucky enough to have him here in New York at Joe's Pub on May 23rd, 24th, and 25th. So if you are in the New York City area and you're looking for an interesting, different experience, then this is the time for you to start getting your tickets, especially if you're listening to this now. You better get your tickets. So Sven, at this point now, you've been doing this show for a minute, as we like to say. You've been able to put this show in different audiences in different places, and it seems to be very well received. Are you nervous about your show here in New York? Do you think the New York audiences are going to be, oh, let us see his Bowie? Is that what he's giving us? What are these? Because you know how these bitches are.
But I've been here a couple of times, and I remember the first time was like, you know, my neck hurt because, you know, the buildings were so high, and the people were so, and everybody was so fast, you know, and I couldn't even understand it really. When you order a coffee, it went all so fast, because we are in Europe, we are quite slow. We are sitting on the terrace and have a coffee for 2 hours, and here, you know, just run. But
2 hours? Oh my God!
Yeah, we have breakfast, you know. I always have when I stay with friends here, they're like, they just have a coffee and a banana or something. And I'm like,
it.
well, but I need to sit down and have breakfast and read the newspaper. But no, I've been, and I have so many friends here now, and I just know that this is a very good show and that we did a good job. So it's not that of course I'm a little bit nervous also because I cannot bring the whole band. So I'm just bringing my MD, Charlie, the piano player, and then I have to work with these guys here, and it's like, that's New York, like just one rehearsal and then just do it. And we have to cut down the show a little bit because it's 120 minutes in Europe, and it's mainly done in big theaters, and there's a big light show and all that stuff. And here, Joe's Pub, it's intimate, and that's more, that's even cooler, but it's for a performer, it's harder, You have to be really good because you see everything.
You see everything, and there's nowhere to hide in a cabaret stage, especially like Joe's Pub. It's a wonderful place. It's Sven Ratzke with me here on Keith Price's Curtain Call, and we are just, gabbing about his show that he's doing at Joe's Pub. We're talking about his music. It's like, it's funny because one of the things about this particular podcast is that I always like to make sure to have whatever theatrical moments that we can include in this. And for you talking about doing Hedwig, as you're talking about it, I put that connection to where there's certainly something very David Bowie-esque about Hedwig.
Yeah, certainly.
So for you,
and
do
they
you
wanted
feel like
to use the music in the beginning. Eh?
Yeah.
I don't know if you heard that.
Yeah.
John told me. Absolutely. I mean, also this character, which is not... you cannot almost not describe it. You don't know a character like that, like Hedwig. And that's the same a little bit with Bowie, If you see, it's like a big puzzle. And he made always his characters out of other puzzle pieces he put together. And what inspired me very much is that he was always taking a big risk. Nowadays you see a lot in pop music, people have all these advisors and they see if can we have a hit. He didn't care about having a hit. And also some of his albums didn't sell that well in these days. They're now cult,
Right.
And I mean, imagine that he killed Ziggy Stardust on stage, went to the States and did a soul album. I mean, how crazy is that? But I love that. It's Young Americans and all that stuff, and it's fantastic. And
of course his work with Niles Rodgers.
Yeah,
Nile Rodgers,
exactly.
come on,
Absolutely.
Man.
Yeah, and I think that has to be inspiring for every artist that... I'm not thinking of my new production has to be this and this because this was successful, so I have to repeat the same. No, let's make a ballet, or whatever, let's change everything. Let's change the rules. And I mean, maybe it's easy to say because the market is, of course, very hard and it's very hard to produce, but I'm producing myself and I have all these people working with me. And that was, that I take little steps and gets bigger. The business, our business gets bigger. But that was always very important for me to have that freedom. So nobody can come up to me and say, hey, you have to do these songs like this or you have to use that picture. No, I can do my own stuff. And that's why I'm maybe less nervous about it because this is my own thing. I created this or recreated this.
That's the best thing, Sven. Sven Ratzke with me on Keith Price's Curtain Call. And, there's something about when you're, especially as an artist, the freedom of being able to create it the way that you like gives you not only, I think, a sense of power about what you're doing, but it also allows you to really enjoy it more because you're so much more invested in it.
Yeah.
It's like with this, for me, it's just that same kind of thing. I'm like, because I'm getting to sit around and talk to Sven Ratzke. This beautiful man giving me an accent, and y'all know that gets me. Anyway, and so that's Dan. Dan, I'm going to get you for that. So at the same time, you're after doing Hedwig, did that pique your interest into wanting to do more acting for yourself?
Yeah, because I always say I come from theater more than from music because when I was like 16, 17, I started to write plays, and I thought I wanted to become an actor, and then I went to acting school. You know, you have to see these in European, they're very strict, and and I hated it, and I thought I don't want to be a little wheel in this big wagon. I want to ride the wagon, you know. So, and then I started to do my own stuff, and my first show was with these Fassbinder songs and Brecht songs, and that was really successful. And then I thought, hey, this is theater too, you know, because these songs are.
I just dropped the CD.
These songs are like little plays themselves.
Absolutely.
And after doing Hedwig, I worked with this amazing team because this producer came to me and he said, if you want to do this, and I said, well, I can be very difficult, I said, because I want to work with my own people. And he said, well, you get all the freedom. So I'm almost like a producer of the piece, but I don't put the money in it, which is cool. So I don't take the risks.
But from the producers, never use your own money.
No, but that's so cool because they just wanted me in Berlin. We did the long Berlin run,
right,
and we took it also to Amsterdam, and now it's coming back in autumn back to Berlin and Hamburg and all that stuff. And certainly, yeah, absolutely. When I worked on that, and I had also the freedom to recreate the character. You know, I had also one day there was this offer to do Cabaret, the Sam Mendes version in Europe, and I said, no, I'm not interested because I mean, look at Alan Cumming. He did it so well. I cannot copy that. I can recreate something. Then I'm in it. But
I could see you giving me some MC action.
Well, I did Cabaret, but then I did another show where there was the freedom, you know, and because that happens a lot that people just copy or just like copy a movie.
Right.
You know, I'm not so interested in that, but. Certainly, I'm working now on a couple of other projects for the future where there is a lot of acting involved and playing another female character, a very glamorous one because Hedwig is quite torn apart, of course.
Well, you know,
a fucked up character, you know. But she's so. I mean, people have to cry. You know?
They do.
And the great thing about it is you get all kinds of reactions. You get also. I had one guy who couldn't handle it. Who couldn't handle Hedwig, and he just threw his drink in my face. You know? And then I pulled. There was a bottle on his. There were tables, and so I put the whole bottle over his head. You know, so
because that's really what Hedwig would have done.
Hedwig can do that.
Hedwig would have fought.
I
actually.
ride on the back of a man
right.
and cover him with beer and all that stuff, and there are no boundaries because. She is real. In that moment, she is real.
Absolutely.
And she's not taking over. I mean, she's after the show, I'm like this.
Yes.
That's, you know, I'm in normal life, I have to be like this because otherwise I get crazy. I cannot be like flamboyant all day long.
It's so hard to hold it in, isn't it? These days, you just want to fly right out of here, right?
No, but I mean, there's a stage life and there's the you know, when the audience is gone and there's the sadness and emptiness. No, but it's good to be. I think, and I see that on like all my colleagues, like Justin Vivian Bond and Joey Arias and all these people that I love. They have that also. You know, you can just talk with them. You have a normal conversation with them. They're down to earth. They're hardworking people.
I love Miss Justin,
but they go crazy on stage.
Yeah.
I just saw Kiki and Herb yesterday.
Oh wow, because they just got back together for like this run of shows that sold out and crashed the website and everything. I'm like. Wow!
It's so, and talking about legends, I mean, suddenly you can see this live again, you know, and it was very good.
I love that. Sven Ratzke with me here on Keith Price's Curtain Call, and we're talking about his show that he's going to be doing here in New York at Joe's Pub called Starman, May 23rd, 24th, and 25th. So
26th,
23rd, 4th, 5th, and 6th, or 4th, 5th, and 6th. Wait. Yeah.
No.
See, this is what happens when I don't look at the notes.
4 and 6.
Wait, this is what, 23rd, 24th, and 26th. See, 26th.
Yeah.
So when you don't have your glasses, the 6 looks like a 5. So, because we keep everything honest here at the Curtain Call. So, again, you are, you know, how exciting for you, though, to be able to have this opportunity to not only create this piece and be able to travel with it, to be able to make it a part of your life and stuff like that. It's sort of like, it's going to be fun to watch when you have time to break away from this and see what's next. Are you ready? Like, you know, these things are already committed, so you're fully on into that, but are you looking forward to that first day when you're not having to do STARMAN, where you can start that next little project? And
I'm already busy with the next project. That's why I'm here a week earlier to of course do an interview with you.
He's here for me, darling.
They were flying me in first class. The bill is coming later.
I know, so sad.
No, but I'm here especially also to start writing. Also with Rochelle, I have a couple of people around the globe where I want to write songs with. So the next project will be only original songs, because I did that always. I always wrote songs, but it was never the main goal for me, because first I didn't have so much time, and on the other hand, I had like the show I did before was about the 60 divas, and I mean, I wanted to recreate that era and these great songs, and now I do this, of course, with the material of Bowie and showing actually what an amazing songwriter he is, because if you can transform these songs, then they're really good. It's like the Beatles, the Stones, you know, they have, I mean, if the material is really good, then you can do something with it.
And still have it and make it part of your own repertoire. Yeah. So the song Time, is this your song?
No, that's a song from the 70s, from the Ziggy Stardust period. It's a little bit like almost a Jacques Brel inspired, about death, and time is, of course, sort of a predator and running around and searching for us. It's a very cool song.
It's a very cool song.
It's almost a cabaret song.
Well, perfect, because I want to throw to it and to tell me a little bit about the song, how this song came to be a part of this collection for you.
The song Time? I think it's a little bit hard to tell, because I had a collection of songs that I wanted to do, and I also made a set list very fast, which I normally don't do, because if I do like a random show, I have guests or whatever, I make the set list like 2 minutes before I go on stage, and my musicians are good with that because they're all jazz,
right?
You know,
so they know how to swing.
They know, oh, he's gonna change something, or he's gonna improvise. He's crazy. Don't mind him. But with this show, before we even started to rehearse or whatever, I had the whole set list, and I had time was there, because I think the great thing is that you can see that Bowie was very much inspired by Berlin, the Golden 20s, by Jacques Brel, you know, all these great songwriters. And the almost musical music. Life on Mars, for example, is like a musical number, you know?
I love that.
And we do that song too, it's not on the record. And Time shows very much this almost 1920 Berlin touch. And it's like this, making making a character out of time, you know, who's like is hunting us and driving you crazy. So that's why I had immediately, okay, I can relate to this song. I can put something in it, and it's like, it's a little bit dirty. I lick somebody's head in this song, you know. So it's a real cabaret-ish style.
I love it. Well,
you have to come to the show.
Oh, well, of course I will come to the show. But wait, before though, let's give them a taste of Time.
Yeah,
and let them see how they like feeling. Think of yourself getting your head licked as Sven Ratzke is singing the song to you.
Chimes! God damn, you're looking old. You're freezing, catch a cold, 'cause you left your coat behind. So take your time, breaking up his heart and keeping dark was hateful. I had so many dreams, I had so many breakthroughs, but you, my love, were kind. But love has left you dreamless. The doors to dream was closed. Your heart was real dreamless. Perhaps you're smiling now, smiling through this darkness. But all I had to give
time. It's so genius. Oh my God. I really, really want to thank my guest Sven Ratzke for stopping by the Curtain Call to tell you about not only his new CD, which is available everywhere you can get his music, STARMAN, and if you happen to be in New York on May 23rd, 24th, and 26th, he's here at New York City's Joe's Pub. Go see Sven Ratzke. He is so interesting and so different, but at the same time, he's channeling David Bowie, but he's giving you nothing but Sven Ratzke. It's amazing. Go to svenratzke.com, S-V-E-N Ratzke, R-A-T-Z-K-E.com for more information on his show, his upcoming tour, his music, and wherever else he's got going on. Sven asked me before he left that if I could possibly play one more little ditty from his new CD, Starman. And it's great. It's called Star Children. He said it was a very special song for him. He wanted to make sure you guys hear it. And so if you listen very closely, you can hear a little bit of it as it's starting underneath me. But if you have any questions or comments that you want to share, email me at keithpricecurtaincall@gmail. Like Keith Price's Curtain Call on Facebook. Follow Keith Price Curtain Call on Instagram. And go to KP Curtain Call on Twitter. See you next time.
Lanterns on the cobblestones, voodoo dolls and neon lights. And in the real life, we are star children. We shine through the darkest days with the light of 1,000 rays. Time is the undefeated champion, with glowing eyes and swollen lips. Frozen movie stars, the air-conditioned everyday apocalypse. Strapped into our parachutes, afloat above the Berlin Wall, drifting through the dust and ashes as we watched it all fall. And in the real life, we are star children. We shine through the darkest days with the light of 1,000 rays. And in the real life, we are star children, velvet and black light, glowing through the darkest night.